Are you using holistic medicine like Western medicine? Like, what does that even mean, right? So many people, though, what happens is we end up getting stuck in this like back and forth. We're treating symptoms, we're trying all these different things, and I hear it over and over and over again. So if you're kind of wondering, like, why isn't the thing working when I'm using holistic medicine, when I'm using a natural approach, am I doing something wrong? This talk is for you. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, holistic veterinarian and founder of The Natural Pet Doctor. I'm on a mission to make sure that you, as the amazing pet parent that you are, feel empowered and supported to help your dogs and your cats live their best, most long, vibrant lives. So today, I wanted to talk about a belief system. And this is very, very, very important because so many people get stuck using holistic medicine wrong. So if you think that's you and you're frustrated and you're not sure why you're getting results, we're going to talk about a little shift in the way that you're thinking about your pet's condition, a shift that you can use even for yourself and how you approach looking at a problem that can vastly change your life and the results that you're getting. So this past week, I saw in one of my communities, someone posted, what do I do for diarrhea? How do I resolve this? And I just wanted to see what people posted. I also posted on Instagram, just a quiz and a poll to see kind of like where our minds go when something pops up, when there's a health problem. And what I found was not surprising because I've been there. I've been in this mindset and the way that I thought about like medicine and health problems. And who here wants to use a natural holistic approach for their pets? Maybe that's how you live for yourself. Like, let me know if that's you, because I'm super interested to see, is this something that you're currently using for yourself? Now, what happened with this past week in that post is that everyone just started writing like pumpkin, fasting, slippery elm, bland diet, I don't know, go to the vet. And I was like, yes, and yes, and yes, but there's a big question that was ultimately missed. And I don't have the full story of what was going on with that pet, but I work with a lot of clients that have chronic health conditions, and this question has never been brought up. And what happens is that, unfortunately, we get stuck in this hope strategy of trying all these different supplements. And who's been there, right? You're trying the next thing, you read something online, you end up down the rabbit hole, you buy another supplement, you're hoping that it works. The problem is, though, is that we forgot or didn't realize or know that we needed to ask a different question. We needed to ask, why is the diarrhea there? And this can be applied to any symptom. Diarrhea is a symptom. It's not a cause. And this is where conventional medicine falls short. There's tests and things that we can do to figure out, what's going on. That's very, very, very important. However, medicine is treating symptoms usually. It's not healing the root imbalance. So for diarrhea, when we think about, well, why did my pet get diarrhea? Okay, if it's like one-off, yeah, that can happen to anyone. I mean, that's, something aggravated your GI tract. I mean, maybe you had food poisoning, we all get diarrhea at some point in our lives, usually multiple times. And that's from living, that could be from stress. But do you realize what I'm doing there? When I say it's from, we're indicating that there was a root cause. It could be stress. It could be the food we ate. So we have to start shifting how we approach these problems. And what I find so many pet parents do is we're stuck in this conventional mindset. For one, we expect results right away. That's not how holistic medicine usually works. Sometimes it can, but it's a journey. And the other thing people do is we're using supplements just like we're using conventional medicine. So if you have diarrhea, okay, let's give some slippery elm. But why are we giving slippery elm? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Okay, so it helps soothe an inflamed gut lining. It's going to help provide support if there's leaky gut, can help heal the gut lining. But what if that wasn't the problem? What if we were still feeding a food that was high in inflammatory ingredients? What if the environment in our house was really, really stressful and we didn't address the emotional side? And we know through so many studies now about the gut-brain axis and how stress can create leaky gut right away. So if we don't address those root imbalances, will the diarrhea go away? The pet might get a little bit better with some supportive care. Very important. Quality of life is always the most important thing. But if we don't shift the way that we're thinking, and it's amazing. I mean, social media, God bless social media. A blessing and a curse all at the same time, especially when you talk about different things that's not mainstream. And I am all about integrative care. I'm not against conventional medicine. I call myself a holistic doctor. We're looking at the whole body. And there is a time and a place for meds. Some people don't want to hear that. They don't want to use any drugs. And I see pets that, they've been having a health issue for 2-3 years and they've never been to the vet to try to figure out what it is. And they're like, I don't want to use drugs. I just want to use herbs. And I'm like, well, you haven't figured out what the root imbalance is. So we still need medicine, but we also have to shift away from this, like everything is bad if it's not natural, but also too, like we need to start diving deeper. So digestion, we have a better gut health program that's launching this month with 20 amazing pet parents. We're doing another one next month to help dive into what the root cause of these chronic health conditions. Allergies is a symptom. Chronic ear infections is a symptom. Itchy skin, chewing at the paws. These are symptoms of an imbalance somewhere in the body or imbalances. Chronic diarrhea, inflammatory bowel disease. Is it a problem with digestion? Maybe your pet's not producing enough digestive enzymes. Maybe their pancreas is inflamed. Maybe they don't have enough stomach acid because they've been on a kibble diet for so many years that their body has adjusted, but now can't break down the food to absorb it properly. And now we actually have a mineral imbalance. We don't have enough magnesium. Magnesium's essential for activating the stomach acid. Magnesium's essential for supporting the gut lining and helping it heal. But what if you don't know to look for that? Where do you go? We start using and hoping and relying on hope strategy and using herbal medicine, holistic medicine, just like conventional medicine falls short. And that's where we get stuck in spending all this money going back and forth to the vet clinic and not figuring out what the actual cause is. Now, for a lot of people here, if you've been following me for a long time, you know my personal story. It started with my husband developing an autoimmune disease years ago, back in 2014. And it led me down this path because I realized we were missing the root cause. We were missing, like, why did his immune system all of a sudden start getting aggravated, irritated? The solutions we were given to us by the doctors, the gastroenterologists, were immunosuppressive drugs that can have serious side effects. And that was our wake-up call that, wait a second, this medical system is broken. And here I was on the vet side, starting off my career first few years in, and going, wow, I'm doing exactly the same to my patients. And we get to a place where the drugs stop working and we go, there's nothing more we can do. And I never wanted to be in that position again. I don't always have the answers, but this is where, okay, something's not working with our treatment protocol. Okay, let's back up and go back to the foundations, back to those principles, looking at physical health, immune health, gut health and nutrition, looking at the environmental health, the toxins. Maybe we have a heavy metal issue. maybe we have an emotional health issue. And that's where you can start empowering yourself rather than just guessing and hoping that the next thing works. It's a long journey sometimes, especially if your pet's been having issues from day one as a puppy or a kitten and figuring that out. But I can tell you personally, when we get those doctors or people doubting us, it doesn't bother me as much, because I know it's absolutely ridiculous when they say, oh, there's no yeast in the gut. Food doesn't matter. And I'm like, oh, you're not doing the research. You're not learning anymore. That's a very dangerous position to be in. And essentially, if we were to go on those strong immunosuppressives, there's going to be adverse side effects to that. And this is where people don't realize that there's different phases of disease. And we're all on this spectrum where we're constantly like moving back and forth, whether the things we're putting into our body, the environments that we're creating, that we're surrounding ourselves with, whether they're healthy or not, are moving us closer to a shorter life or moving us back to optimal health. And when we start assessing these areas, we can make better decisions for ourselves and for our pets to move closer to health, even if your pet has a health condition. So some of the common things that you need to be thinking about, not necessarily like, what's the next best thing I need to, like, what's the next supplement? I want you to shift away from that belief system of like, I read that this, resveratrol is great for supporting and reducing. So we're supporting cellular health, reducing oxidative stress, as part of improving longevity. But if you're feeding a really poor quality diet, so these are processed foods, so learn more. It doesn't mean you have to change right away, but if something's bothering you, or you're like turning the bag around of your pet's food and you're reading the ingredient list and you're going, is this real food? Like, I didn't think my dog could sustain off of corn. They can, but do they live their best and most optimal life? Will that improve longevity? Will that reduce the risk of disease or heal their body? Not necessarily. And this is where we can have something occurring underneath, internally, a nutritional deficiency, an imbalance. And you won't see a symptom at first. And that disease process, if we don't start looking at these foundations and asking better questions, we'll get better answers. What happens is that disease process continues. Those imbalances worsen. Next step, you still don't see any symptoms. There are things occurring in us every day. Our bodies are, when we give them what they need, they heal. That's what's amazing about our bodies and nature. But when we create resistance, that's when we run into trouble. And so the problem is we tend to think that everything's fine because we don't see symptoms. And I want you to think about yourself right now, this very moment. You're probably doing maybe 2,000 different things. Maybe you're getting ready for work. You're tuning in just to hear what I have to say, which I appreciate. But I want you to tap into personally how you feel right now. Do you feel stress? Do you feel like this, oh God, at least it's Friday, right? Oh, I got the weekend. I hate my job, but at least it's the weekend. Do you feel tired? Do you feel well rested? Do you have a headache? Do you have maybe soreness? Maybe you worked out. Type it in the comments. I want to hear what you're currently feeling right now, personally. Because this is the part where we can't always ask our pets, but when we become more in tune with us and how we're feeling, when we become more in tune with our environment and what's going on around us, and looking at what's triggering me, why is it triggering me? And so a lot of us, though, what do? We just plow through it. Sometimes we have to, right? We have jobs to do, we have obligations, we need to take care of the kids, get them off to school. Maybe we have sick pets that we need to take care of. I had to get up and feed the cats, otherwise they would not be very happy. So we have things that we need to do, but the first step is knowing that, okay, I have fatigue, I feel tired. What can I do to set myself up for success today? All of this applies to your pets. When we start looking at, like, if we're pouring kibble into the bowl, like, okay, what's one thing I could do today to help my pet improve their health? We have a dog, great. I'm going to eat some vegetables for dinner tonight. Let me set aside some and use it as a topper for my dog's food. If I'm really tired, okay, when I get home from work, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a cup of tea. I love my tea. So have a cup of chamomile tea, especially if you have some like GI issues because of stress or IBS, or share a cup with your pet. This is easier with dogs. Some cats will tolerate like a little bit of chamomile tea mixed in, the actual tea, not the tea bag, mixed into the food to help calm and be more present. And then go to bed early. Maybe like because you're tired, you don't need to go out with your friends tonight. Say like, I need to get more rest. I need to take care of myself. Let's see how I feel tomorrow and do that. And this is the same with our pets. Just because we think like, especially older pets, I used to do this with Finn, our German Shepherd. It was like, okay, I want to go for a walk and I want it to be this long for me. But when I take Finn out, if I see Finn kind of sniffing more, holding back on the leash, not wanting to go as far, I have to address that. I have to look at, okay, Finn does not want to go as far. Yep. Okay, let's just let him sniff. Let's let him like engage with the environment. This is enrichment for him, and we'll keep the walk shorter. Let's take him home. We can use some like snuffle mats. We can put a Kong down, enrich like where he doesn't have to potentially, if there's pain from inflammation, from osteoarthritis, being an older German Shepherd, these are ways that we tap in and become more aware of what's going on, not just reaching for the next thing, but becoming more aware and asking, why is something happening? We see changes in behavior, we see changes in how they feel, and it's the same exact thing for ourselves. So my challenge for you today, this is more of like a mindset talk, because everything starts with beliefs and mindsets, and it's something that we can change. That's the power. This is the biggest thing that will make the biggest difference for you and your pet's health. Is the mindset we're in, our belief systems, and continuing to learn more so we can show up and do better for ourselves and for our pets and the collective whole. When you do that, it raises the energetic frequency of the world, and it'll help other people. It'll help other pets. It is so powerful. This is how powerful it is. And it seems so easy, but it's not. And that's why most people don't do it. So my challenge for you today, to go through the weekend, touch base here throughout the day. How am I feeling? Take a deep breath, ground yourself. How are my pets doing? If you have to go to work today, when you get home, sit down with them, check in with your pets. How are they feeling? What's their energy level? And start becoming more aware of just how you're doing, how you're feeling, and how your pets are doing and how they're feeling. Because you may not need to add those supplements in. If we're hitting the emotional health needs, that's huge. And you'll have a much better idea of what they truly need. And also, what's really neat about this is free. It doesn't cost anything to do this. It's just us breaking through sometimes the pain of feeling where we're at and being honest with ourselves. That's the hardest part about this. And we're taught to disconnect and be busy and ignore that. So how are you going to do that today? Take a break, take a couple deep breaths, put your hand on your heart, center yourself, and just ask yourself those better questions And I promise you, you'll get better answers because of it. I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, the natural pet doctor. I'll see you all soon. If you need more help and guidance, you want to dive deeper into finding those root imbalances, definitely schedule a call with us to learn more about our Better Gut Health program. We have a few more slots for our November start date, and I would love to help you get the results that you need and you deserve to help your pets live their best life. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.